Yeah, man.
Well, we shall all be orphans soon. Net neutrality's been repealed, which means that, I'll have some special rich person's internet where I only get Netflix and poor people tracker to monitor the outside of my house. Poor people will also have a poor version of Netflix where they can stream movies that don't have too triumphant a message in them. Those will be put in a special fast lane for rich people, and then poor people will also have FaceTime, if they're at work and they want to check on their kids in the re-education camps.
Poor people will get all the movies that rich people get, just no endings.
I really feel that this net neutrality thing, even though we don't know what it is, a lot of us, I understand. It's like when I was a kid, when people would talk about Nicaragua, all you knew was that something bad was happening. You didn't want to do the research. It was hard. Net neutrality is it may as well be the name of some crazy nation where we don't know what's going on. But I mean, I think you've probably figured it out by now. God knows all the people that supported it. I could see on Twitter, had this massive rush of a week where they, having just now started asking each other what it was, because all they knew is that in their opinion, the bad guys liked it, and now it was time to repeal it. Someone got to these people and said it was Obama-trality or something. Yeah. And so you could see them all looking it up and going, huh? And then their big insults were I'd just like to see some of these people explain this shit that are complaining. It's nice try. No one's doing your homework for you, you fucking greasy fuckface.
It's also super easy to explain. The people who brought us ATMs now want to charge us for ATMs. Yeah. It's the same old argument.
The agency that we created because we once thought the radio waves might run out, that stuck around because once you create a government agency, you just don't get rid of it. You never have a meeting and go, we don't need no ATF anymore. What are we doing? We love alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Let's just get rid of them. These agencies just hang around, and if you're the FCC, you just hang around. And now, we started using them to at least enforce the concept of neutrality, which, much as Thomas Jefferson said about freedom of speech, when I think he was one of the people that was maybe we shouldn't put this in this document because then it becomes a legal matter and free speech is going to only get less free if lawyers start arguing about it. But anyways, we put, the FCC in charge. So here's your job. Stand there and say there's net neutrality. That's your new job. Yeah. You don't have to care if there's tits or F words anymore. You can just stand there and say there needs to be net neutrality. Okay. And so now we had them stop standing there, and now they're happy because now it's just the internet is now private property. All of us are trespassing on it. We're all going to be traveling at speeds that are able to be throttled by the monopolies that control your access to the internet. Probably my audience is not only aware of this, but actually very annoyed with my ignorance of it.
We talked about it in the past, and you also railed against the marketing flaw of the name net neutrality.
Yes.
And you brought up the ultimate suggestion that should have been and maybe would have swung everything, suggestion that they should change the name to, I think, Butt Fun. It's a more positive name than net neutrality.
Butt Fun might have worked. But here's the thing. It's just such an assault. It's at this point, it's it's not as if there wasn't a chance for the democratic will of the people to be known. It was absolutely known, registered, measured. It was there. We know that the country did not want this. Only some rubes who thought for a busy work week because they only read Nazi zines thought that maybe it had that they didn't want it. A vast majority of everybody, even the people who only could bother to care a little bit, are that sounds like a dumb thing to lose. And they didn't give a fuck. It's we are definitely at this point, and I think there's one step left, which is this horrible Christmas rumor, which is that...
What?
Well, there's this rumor that I retweeted. Everyone's gearing up because for the Saturday Night Massacre Part 2, which is the rumor that Trump is going to fire Muller over Christmas.
Yeah, no. But yeah, I hear you. I've heard that rumor.
All right, let's talk about black people in Alabama.
No. What do you think? What are the odds on this? And what is your plan? Because you have a handgun.
I don't have a fucking plan.
But you have a gun.
I have one plan, which is the move on dot whatever plan that I retweeted, which is like you RSVP to a thing that says they can text you, and so that within 24 hours of Muller getting fired, we're all going to, just flood the streets that are... You're shaking your head.
That's a bad plan. I suggest we all light a cigarette and take it up the butt one more time. Not that taking it up the butt is a bad thing. Only if it's against your choice.
If he fires Mueller, you think we should...
You get used to it. Folks,
what?
Listen.
You're so cynical.
I'm not. I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to say we blew it a long time ago. This is like if our father who left our mother comes back drunk on Easter, are we going to celebrate? No. We know where we are. That motherfucker don't love us. That's how it is. We are in such trouble.
But this is about rule of law. That would be. It's about.
What you gonna do?
It's about slap his hand when he reaches out for the applesauce that he can't. He cannot be passed. It's the last rule that he will have to break if he wants to know he has permission to break all rules forever. I mean, I know we've all had a lot of final lines drawn in our personal sands and things, but it is like. I mean, this is the second fucking guy that's an independent person that's trying to bring this investigation into the goddamn station. Any president should be absolutely willing to watch it play out. And it's obscenely almost funny how little fault can be found with this particular guy. And if this autocrat fires him over Christmas break, that is him saying, that's like a kid, like, taking his dick out and putting it in his mother's face over Christmas, like, while company's over. So what's the mom supposed to do? Like, your advice is to say, why don't you just suck on it a little bit? Maybe he'll fall asleep.
No, I'm saying your kid was... First of all, that's not what my mother did. She sent me to my room. Second of all, I'm saying your kid was bad before you brought him to the Christmas table, and now you're going to reprimand him in front of us and scar our fucking Christmas?
Why are you so fatalistic now? You're always the uplifting guy.
I'm still uplifted, but I'm like this. Somebody been squeezing your titties this long, and you really going to say something now?
This is a privilege thing, right? This is like a welcome to the party white boy thing. Like.
I'm just very honestly telling you that we don't have elected. We're not on the gun side. What you would want is for the militia people to do something, but they're not. They're on his side. So as liberals, if they do something else to us, there's really. Let's be honest. We don't have the votes to impeach. We're just now getting Congress back. We can't really fuck with this dude.
Yeah, but don't you want to?
Not on that level.
I mean, the Women's March did accomplish something. It didn't accomplish anything in writing. It didn't accomplish any legislation. It was the sheer numbers, the fact that people's arms were rubbing up against glass and plaster, and no one was fighting, and the streets were clogged in every major city because he fucked with women and women's rights, and then it was just like fromp. And then since then it's been like, let's try that again, and everyone's like, you know what, I got work, I got to pick up my kids, but this is the other thing. I mean, like, this is the thing where you want your numbers to count, where you want somebody to know. I would almost say, I like the RSVP system because I like the idea that the news item that ends up back on Fox News where he can see it says, by the way, 90 million Americans say that this is fucking it. They can't handle it anymore, and they're going to actually walk out of their house, not show up at their job, and they're going to go down to City Hall and stand there and piss at a bucket until something changes.
But I don't think that this is it.
All right,
because we just don't have the numbers.
This is the guy in charge of the investigation that absolutely is. I mean, in some weird universe, which if we're people that observe law and order, we have to acknowledge. Like, there's some weird universe where they go, you know what? This is all clean. It's all fine. He's perfect. We looked through his tax returns. We looked through his connections, his financial information, the 4 years leading up to this whole thing. You know what? There's no hanky-panky going on. This is just fine. Then we all, either that's going to happen or there's going to be a fucking thing. And if this investigation doesn't reach its conclusion, what are we doing then? What are you so excited to get on with? Then we're just defeated and hanging out and just like.
Yeah, I think they stole it from us. They got it right now. Well, we have our streets. We have each other. We have ACLU. We have Planned Parenthood. We have these grassroots things. The political thing, I don't think we have. I honestly don't know how we're going to come back from him firing Mueller, because I don't know what we can do. That's not what we do.
It's just got to be like there has to be enough of us, and we got to go like this.
Right. That's the problem with, I love being a, liberal, but it's like when war starts, we kind of are not the first people to take up arms, and it's kind of hard to get motivated to fight them on that level. I can fight them we need to have some food drives. I can fight them on the raise funds for a family that gets burnt out in the California fires. But when they start doing crazy upper level government stuff, that's not where me personally, I can't really fuck with them on that level. I'm like, you guys just got away with a heist, and I honestly can't even correct that heist. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It'd be like, honestly, if they were like, we're raising interest rates.
Well, I'm going. I RSVP. They got my number.
And here's the thing that I want to say about these marches, because you asked, what did the Women's March do? And I think that these shows of force, whenever we show up in large numbers, it lets people know next time there'll be more of us, and there'll be more of us, and there'll be more of us. And we also get to look at each other and say, I'm with you, I got your back, I'm with you. So it works.
All right.
But when those marches wind up in the places where people are disenfranchised, then I'll know that we're not playing around. Like when you do a women's march that actually winds up going to the women's center in downtown LA and maybe helping out, those bodies, those thousands of people show up week after week to keep those infrastructure up, then I'll be like, okay, we are doing some shit, we're in trouble, and we're reacting in a positive way. When they take the march all the way to Compton, instead of stopping it in the richest part of the city, which is downtown LA, when they march all the way to Compton and they spend money in those stores, they look around and they clean up those buildings, they pick up some trash, then I'll be like, okay,
what's
now
in there? What do they got? What do they got in the store?
They got good shit in those stores.
Like,
you ever been to a candy store?
Yeah.
A candy house?
Is there a vape? Is there a vape place?
There's all sorts of secondhand shit. There's shops down there. But the point is, like, we're still talking shit. So on this one, we can't really draw a line in the sand, because that's not how we even operate.
All right, fine, Brandon Johnson.
That doesn't mean we shouldn't be outraged. It's just really, what are we supposed to do? All fly to Washington, D.C. when this happens? And we should all
let's do that. Yeah.
How do we all
First
have
class,
that money? We don't all have that money.
No, but everyone who does can, and hopefully that's, enough people to break the walls down.
What are we going to do when we get there? Are we going to raise money for poor people? Or
we're going to throw ourselves violently at the walls of the White House until our bodies have to be removed from the Capitol.
Can we, instead of maybe going to them, take ourselves away from the internet? Can we maybe tell these motherfuckers what we expect it to be, so they give us shit like hybrid cars, like solar panels? Can we teach industry how to listen to us when we say we don't want to throttle? Why are we even using our government to talk to these motherfuckers when, quite honestly, as a consumer, can't we just tell them we don't want that shit?
Well, they're monopolies.
They're awarded monopolies by
then why don't we take a couple months off and hit their bottom line?
All right,
because that's way faster than Congress, and that's what they respond to. They stopped making clear Pepsi.
I think they waited. They Clear Pepsi didn't successfully wait 30 years so that everyone that needed to send out their resume, get memos from their boss, coordinate with their babysitter, get in touch with their family, let everyone know what they're doing, had to use Clear Pepsi. Like they waited till the right time. Like I don't know how
we shut Blockbuster down.
What? That's because DVDs came out. What do you mean?
DVDs came out because Blockbuster was renting to us, and we were all surrounded. We were going to Blockbuster like it was a thing, the whole family, right? Mm-hmm. And then Blockbuster was like, we could just hit you for fees. We don't even care if you keep the movie, rent the movie, whatever. We're going to hit you for fees. And then states came out and said, no, fees are the duty of the state. That's the only thing. That's the only recourse we have. A private entity can't collect fees, or then we're all fucked.
Well, that was before my time. I don't know.
I think it was Redbox.
So when you were like 8, so that sort of facilitated industry to respond in a way where you got Netflix, where that motherfucker came along and was like, hey, you ain't got to pay fees. You can keep the DVD. We don't even care. We want a subscription service. So I'm like, we have taught corporations and industries how we want to be treated. And if they need to learn it again on this net neutrality thing, that's just the deal. That's the deal. When they put shitty TV on, we stopped watching and we went over to the internet. And if they fuck the internet up, I don't know, maybe we'll go back to hanging out with each other and reading books and shit. But overall, they will learn from us how we're about to get treated.
All right, so false alarm. I came up. I said, so everything's gonna be fine because when we finally get mistreated enough, we're gonna show them what's up by going to the women's center.
Yeah, I don't think anything bad will happen when it comes out officially that it turns out you can rig an election without consequence. I think going forward, it'll all be fine.
Yeah.
I just want to know if anybody wants to deal on some of this delicious lead paint I got.
It goes great with asbestos.
I mean, they fucking took huge sodas out of New York. That's a possibility. We can do a lot of damage that winds up being good for ourselves. You know?
Well, yeah. I mean, we're in California. We're going to be fine no matter what. That's the thing. It's not about, like, our specific comfort, I don't think, hopefully. I mean, even without net neutrality, like, I can afford to pay for a fast lane, you know? But that's not what's at stake for the bigger picture, right?
No, but California's we've already started to sue, like, immediately. And I think there's 10 other states. It's 11 total.
Yeah.
11 states have already pushed back and said, you're not going to be able to do this. So while it is terrifying and it's not fair, we stand a good chance of getting our way in this deal. If we fight as citizens, if we keep trying to legislate our way out of these battles, it's going to get rough. And
showing up to a thing where you sit cross-legged in the street until they mace you and drag you away and use your body to gum up the works of that's not legislation. I'm talking about these moments where, and I understand what you're saying. That I mean, you're basically saying, like, yeah, all the people that have lines in the sand that have to do with when an ideology has been transgressed, they don't give a fuck about the people that live 20 yards from them, and they don't give a fuck about what's going on in their real life, and they could be like Jim Carrey and Yes Man and start changing their lives completely and disrupting everything in their comfort zone. And all of that is true, but it's also really easy to get like 50 million people to just like open their windows and say, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. And sometimes that needs to happen as well.
Certainly. But let's fight an economic battle with economics.
I think that definitely we need to avail ourselves more of like boycotting based tactics than we have been, because that's very powerful and people kind of shame you for it.
That's where the battleground has moved. We now have no fucking legal recourse. The net neutrality is now going to be a financial game. It's going to be about boycotts and all this shit. But Trump firing Mueller is like, it's a home invasion of everyone's home by one guy who's saying, I don't want checks and balances. I don't want three branches. I don't want any of the Constitution to apply to me. I want to be an autocrat. Say nothing if that's fine, and by the way, just drink your eggnog because I'm going to do it on the fucking 22nd of December while everyone's gone. Like, if he does that and everyone just hangs out, I'm not going to take that as a sign that we're going to help the local YMCA or anything. Like, I don't think I'm going to take that as a sign that we've given up, and so is him. And whatever the fuck he's representing, whatever evil cloud is in is guiding him with the power of Mordor. We have to. It's the one thing we've been waiting for. It's just like, will you just submit to due process? Will you let us frisk you? You won't fucking like submit. Like just say I'm a crooked person, I'm a criminal, I have my fingers in dirty pies, and then say, but I'm a businessman or whatever, and defend it. He's been lying and fucking putting it off for so long, and all right. Well, whatever. We said our piece. We're talking in circles.
Yeah, I'm still on the uplift. I recognize which battle and maybe how we should fight it.
I
My 2
recognize
cents.
which battle. I and I alone, and all of you. Yeah, I RSVP'd to that stupid thing, and I'm showing up. They text me and they go, "He just fired Muller." I'm gonna go like, I'm not going down there with a bat or anything. I'm just gonna go down there and eat some spaghetti that I bring in a thermos, and then I'm gonna be like, I don't know what to do.
Nothing.
And then maybe I'll just lay down and eat grass until I die. I don't know. Like I don't want to make plans for after that day. He can't do this.
I know, but. We got this. We still got this.
We got this.
We got this.
We got this.
We got this.
Let's lighten things up a little with a visit from Socialist Santa Claus. Socialist Santa's here. Santa.
Hello. I gave my hat to someone with a colder head.
Oh, Santa.
Someone I needed it more.
Typical.
Can I talk about Robert Mueller for a second?
Yeah, of course.
Can I?
Are you going to take my side a little bit? Make me feel a little bit better?
Look at that.
It doesn't sound like it.
So I think there's
All
another
right.
side, right? I think
A third side.
there's a third
great.
side.
I think there's only 2 sides.
I think there's a side that it doesn't matter. That the investigation trying to pin Trump on a technicality, right, is what the Democrats want to do more than anything. Because then you look at it and you go, aha, I got him. And now he has to resign because I got him. And what Trump does is he goes, no, you didn't get me. And legally speaking, right, like, no, you didn't get me does not hold up in court. But when the only recourse is like being impeached by the Republicans that control Congress, no, you didn't get me kind of wins.
Right.
So we're never going to get him on a technicality if he refuses to acknowledge the technicality.
Is it a technicality to say, hey, Russia, do you want to have a conference about rigging this election? And then Russia says, here's some data you can use to rig this election.
Yeah, because, like, we do it all the time.
But that's okay. So then those countries that we do that with have every right to engage us in the court of law. What that is against the law. And in theory, that's not a technicality. That's just the law being executed.
What presidential candidate before this moment in history has ever been caught red-handed actually conspiring with the intelligence of during an election, the intelligence from a hostile foreign power in order to beat their domestic enemy in an election?
I mean, there's the story of Kissinger and Nixon during the Vietnam War. The two of them, Kissinger, I believe, was working for Johnson at the time, and Nixon was a candidate, and it looked like there was going to be peace in Vietnam. They were going to sign a peace accord where it would be like, hey, Vietnam, that war is going to be done. And then Nixon and Kissinger kind of pulled a little fast one and caused a whoopsie in Vietnam that made the war keep going because Nixon knew that he'd win if his opponent didn't stop the war. So the war was good for his campaign, and it came out in papers later, and you know, because Nixon fucking taped everything.
It came out in papers later because Nixon fucking taped everything.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
But he didn't get away with it. Or rather, he got away with it. He didn't get caught on this thing.
Right, because
And Bush didn't get caught because he turned himself in. So when they came to Bush with dirt, he went to the FBI.
I mean, we're rigging elections against our own people with voter suppression and that kind of shit.
Yes, we are, but you guys are taking such a wide scope in order to refute a really, really like specific thing here. This guy is under investigation for an actual crime. If we sit up here and read a book about from Noam Chomsky about how America is the foremost enemy of democracy across the planet, I have no argument with that. But this is a politician who is basically openly making a play to change the margins ever more of politics and what's allowed, including the fact that when you are running for president in our country, it's okay to engage in treasonous behavior because the end justifies the means. And once you're in the Oval Office, then you can say, I don't give a shit, and it'll go round and round. And you guys, your argument is basically it's America's poopy, and it's kind of happened before with our most horrible presidents during our most horrible times in history. Therefore, let's,
it's fine now.
We can care about this and hand out blankets. I know I'm not doing either, but
yeah, it's not that. It's that I feel like once we fucked up, we fucked up. That's the situation.
But that's all election systems. That's all of our election systems. If comes out you rig an election, the result isn't that the runner-up is then installed.
Right.
The result is that someone gets a punitive action, and then those courts or those districts or something changes structurally. Generally, that's what you can hope for.
And if he has to say, no, I didn't do that, well, we hold up an X-ray of him doing that, and it still doesn't get him thrown in jail or replaced with an Amazon drone for president. It's still an important part of the process to go, Mikey, is this a photo of you taking a shit in the living room? And let the little piece of shit say, no, it's not. So everything goes on the bulletin boards. I can't imagine like justifying not being invested in these moments. I understand the argument that if you guys were to say, this is a circus that's directing your attention and energy away from something else.
I think that's true, but I think it's a distraction that's a real important distraction.
Well, let's talk about what the outcome would be, right? Like a potential investigation. And now this is, I have an opinion that I don't think is going to be very popular, but I feel like if there's going to be a Republican president, it better fucking be Donald Trump. Because to me, I look at Donald Trump and I see 90 to 95% of what any Republican would do, 5 to 10% of like rancid whipped cheese filling or whatever that he brings to the table. But fundamentally, he's such a gross ogre that all of the normal Republican things that he does, people are like, oh, this sucks, and he's bad.
Yeah, but the reason he's a gross ogre is because he's making an open play for a shift toward something called autocracy instead of where we've been mired in a sort of openly hypocritical, illusory form of checks and balances. I mean, the guys that have occupied his position, maybe they're autocrats in bureaucratic clothing, but they're not actually just standing up in front of Boy Scout rallies and saying, I wish there was less people in Congress so I could fuck more girls. Like he is a third world leader who has risen through a fascist movement that has been has been provoked and made possible through like insidious means. And I'm not one of these people that goes, oh, because if a Russian tweets a meme that says Pepe the Frog thinks Hillary's a cunt, and then you win the election that way, that means they hacked the election. That means we're stupid and we deserve what we get. But this guy knew about it and played ball with it and thought it was funny and thought that it was what he deserves because he's a sociopath and a 90 IQ fucking horrible monster, just like the presidents that people get in the countries where we so successfully suppress democracy that you end up with a fucking animal leading the people. And it's hypocritical of me. It's to the point where my voice is changing. but I don't want to live in a country the kind of which we create all around the planet.
Right. Well, so here's the question, right? And I think it goes exactly to your point where you said that there was sort of the autocrat in bureaucrat's clothing or the plain-faced autocrat. And my question to you is, which one is better? Seeing your enemy for who they really are or letting them hide and get away with it?
Style-wise, the one's better where you can see the wolf for the wolf. But we're talking about a coup here. We're talking about people saying, would it be okay, America, now that you're good and fat and scared and stupid and armed to the teeth and xenophobic and unemployed and fucking confused and have iPhones in your pockets, would it be okay, everyone, now that most of you think that New Year's Eve it means that America's 2,000 years old, and all these things that demoralize us when we find out how fucking stupid we all are, would it be okay with you guys as long as everything's good stupid and lazy and fearful and sad if we just shift towards the open-faced version of the closed-faced sandwich we were already eating. Is that okay with everybody? And you're saying yes, it is because because it's like you knew the shit sandwich was already shit, but that doesn't mean the guy saying, is it cool if I just start calling it rape while I rape? Like, saying yes doesn't mean you're protecting people. It doesn't mean that your value system is better. It just means that the cynicism is eaten away at you unless there's like an alternative plan, which I know that I think you guys are street level, act locally kind of minds that are like, you're more right than me. I know you are, but because we should basically, if I took the collective of what you two are saying, I would, it's like, let's stop even glancing at People magazine when we check out at the grocery store. Maybe let's try to grow our own food. Let's definitely not get on the internet. Tell people that want to get in touch with you that they can put duct tape on your driveway and you'll come down there and leave a potted plant on a tortoise. And
I did that one time and you will not let it
It is so hard to book you. That sounds punitive. That sounds like I drifted into, that's me riffing absurdly. That's not me characterizing you guys as being Luddites and backwards and ineffective.
Tortoise lovers.
I was just me riffing about like how do you unplug from the fucking system when it's so pervasive. But like that the solution would be unplug from the system and truly look at the world around you and start acting and let the example that you live with your life start inspiring people to do the same. And there will probably fire will catch, if it's fire worth catching.
It.
If it's not fire worth catching, fuck it. Then you lived your life happy and effectively until doomsday happened. And if it is worth catching, it's not going to catch by you signing into moveon.org and RSVPing to a thing that texts you when it's convenient to drop off the kids and show up for a sit-in.
Right.
You
really should start a business.
That's what you guys are saying.
Start a business.
Like a child watch thing for protests.
Right.
I mean, that's essentially what they've created. They created a list that you can RSVP to because they want, so that we can create a nationwide within 24-hour rapid response, however symbolic, to this event that the attempt on the enemy's part is to just let it happen and you're nothing. It's invisible. It just happens and nothing happens because you can't do anything. And we're just girding our loins because we at least want to say called it. We called this. Like, don't fucking do it. Maybe it's important at least just to take that posture and just stand over that plate of cookies and look at that little sociopath with the chocolate all over his face and the dog's leg in his back pocket and go, I'm watching you, Toby. I'm not your parent, but your fucking mom shouldn't have brought you here, and you watch too much television.
Or
Well, so I think
there's multiple choices.
Well, no, so I think that you bring up like a good point, like the intense desire to be like, you're fucking wrong. Everybody knows you're wrong. You're a fucking asshole, and I hate you, and everybody deserves to watch you fucking your pants fall down around your ankles and you to trip and fall off a bridge. We all want to see that. But my thing is like, let's look at power. Let's look at materially how these things affect us. If Trump is forced to resign and Mike Pence becomes president, materially, our lives aren't going to be that much different. Now, we're not going to be bombarded by psychic hatred and grotesque awfulness from the news all the time because Mike Pence...
That sounds really, really nice.
It sounds really nice.
Wait.
Like,
our lives are going to be different because Pence has positions that are worse than Trump's.
Pence does have some positions that are far worse than Trump as far as his actual belief of his own religious zealotry, like, leads to some really crazy shit. And you saw like an AIDS breakout in Indiana, which makes no sense because nobody fucks there. And then that's just how bad of a governor he was.
Says it on the license plate.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we're the worst. But like materially, where can we, we're only strong when we come together, right? We're only strong when we come together, collective power. Like, any of us individually can't do shit. That's like the net neutrality thing, right? And I also disagree. I don't think we can do just like boycotts or like economically based. We need to look at how power is leveraged and how we coming together. I think the Women's March is really good because it allowed a bunch of people to come together and go, hey, you want to fight for this? I want to fight for this. Let's like get to know each other and figure this out. So the next time there's a mass movement, there are demands that we all agree on together.
But they didn't raise no money, did they? See, here's the thing. Had they raised some money that day for like any female charity, I might be super impressed.
But like money's
I am
one thing.
impressed. I'm impressed by us all showing up, but I'm getting real tired of us trying to buy our way out of the shit by sending somebody to a broken ass Congress or to a broken political system. Well, we know goddamn well that if we had spent $5 on the motherfucker next to us, we wouldn't be in this situation. That is at the end of the day, the thing that you can do. You can get as mad as you want to about court systems and Congress and the political sphere and the president and the fact that third party voters did this and the Republicans did that. Or you can actually reach down, make sure the motherfucker who's right in front of you is eating. Had we done that in the first place, we wouldn't be victims. But now they're trying to scare us. Every week they come out with, I'm moving this to Jerusalem. I'm doing this shit. They ain't doing half the shit they telling us they're going to do, and they got us scared. You don't scare me by telling me you about to pull the cord on my motherfucking internet. You scare me when you're at my front door. I think they will be at our front door soon. So when I look at all this internet shit, I'm like, you are joking that we're upset about it. FBI, Russia, motherfucker, they killing more black dudes every fucking month this year. You talking to me about Russia. Y'all motherfuckers can't even get one white dude. And you killing black people innocently. And I'm supposed to be upset about Muller? I know what's coming. I know exactly what the fuck is coming. And it's not going to be internet neutrality shit. It's not going to be FBI shit. My ass is close to getting rounded the fuck up. So when I look at the big picture, I don't care who y'all got in the White House if you motherfuckers don't pull the boot off my neck. And my voice just cracked too.
Plus, we're all wearing ridiculous things on our heads.
It's really hard to take.
You can see mine, and I can see yours, but we can't see our own. And you're like, there's a clip of you with the radio. Motherfucker, tell me what.
Because we out here trying to fly for Santa. Rudolph is drunk.
Not to detract from that, that was very well said. You know, I don't see. I'm not gonna. I feel like I diminish what you just said by saying I get it. Yeah, it waters it down for me to say I get it. Like I don't fucking get all of it. I get that I don't get it when you talk like that. I get that there's a bigger picture here. I always, like, from the very beginning, like, you know, the day after the election, you know, a huge part of the wallpaper in this redecorated room was, you know, okay, white people who have never complained about anything except for maybe that SpongeBob's movie had you know anti-feminist overtones in the second act. That the Frozen girl's skirt was too slit when she sang. Actually, that's an opinion of mine. I find that a very, very disempowering film. Just high heels and sequins. Just let what go? She's let nothing go.
Yeah,
she can barely walk.
It's freezing and the ice is like everywhere. How can you walk in heels? Like
those shoes have one purpose, okay, to make your ass look better. For me, that's it. You can't tell me that you're by yourself and you're running around in those heels.
Right.
Let it go.
Let it go, girls. Put on some sensible Uggs that I can really get turned on by. Maybe some tights. Yeah, the deck is loaded. I just don't find high heels attractive. All right. So God damn it, what did I do there? It was always about like, you know, we joked about it. I mean, nobody was saying it, but it was like basically the very, very like joking way to put it was like, you know what? We're on the bench at this point. Like you speaking on behalf of black people, like your turn. Like, let's see what you're going to do if you're really that upset about this. And
that's what I've said. What you going to do?
And it's been a year and we don't do a lot.
Not a lot. Not a lot has changed. Motherfuckers say they want to do shit.
We got our shorts on, and it's like you can see the tan lines for like because we never wear shorts, and then we're obsessed with things like whistles, and like we're trying to get the referee to,
there's a lot of stretches that, I mean, we haven't played in a really long time. We've been on the bench for a while,
and that's true. It's hard to mobilize,
or whatever the version of the bench is, the fucking box where you run the game.
Well, that's
right?
what yoga is. It's us stretching, getting ready for the race war, and it's just like constantly we're just stretching. We're like we're gonna be in the right physical stature to, you know, fight the drones.